A legend just got put out in the worst way possible. Ladies and gentlemen, it's over. AJ Styles' career has come to an end at the hands of Gunther, and it is complete and utter just nonsense. It is nonsense that Gunther has now retired Goldberg, John Cena, AJ Styles, and is probably going to retire Brock Lesnar despite him being 40, if not over 40. I don't really know, but it is just disgraceful. A legend like AJ Styles went out like that in front of a dead and empty arena. That stadium, when I tell you last night, so many people were not in seats, it was just crazy. You could see, even the hard cam, there was nobody. You could see the sides of the arena. There was nobody. Nobody came to this show. It was awful. For a Royal Rumble, no one came to your show. And the fact that you have AJ Styles, one of the biggest legends in the business, so many companies, New Japan, TNA, WWE, he all accomplished so much in these companies. And this is the best that you can do for him. But guys, AJ didn't even get a proper send-off. He got 2 to 3 weeks of build for this match. I mean, there was absolutely no build, barely any story. Him and Gunther didn't even interact last show. The go-home show to the Royal Rumble. Do you think that is acceptable in any way when you are building a retirement match like this? Absolutely not. That is, I just can't. Is this what storytelling is in 2026? You just don't show up, you don't interact. Oh, you just wait for your match and that's the story. The story isn't just the match. It's the moments that lead up to the match. And that's what Triple H he doesn't understand. He doesn't understand. And the fact you couldn't even give AJ a full year at the very least, or up till Mania. No, you just wanted to make Gunther look good as fast as you could. So Triple H basically had Gunther, he's a career killer. He retired. He retired John Cena. He retired Gunther. Now we're going to have him retire, AJ Styles because he's such a big star. He is 40. He is over 40 if not. I don't know. I have to double check. But that guy, he is not some young and upcoming talent. Young and upcoming talent, Austin Theory, Grayson Waller. By the way, they ruined Austin Theory, but I'm going to get into that later. You even have Obafemi. But let's choose Gunther. Let's choose Gunther. It is a disgrace. But I'm going to speak on Gunther a little bit more because it makes no sense why you have him retiring all these legends when he doesn't even get boos from it. He doesn't get a pop. He doesn't get a crowd reaction. He gets nothing. He gets crickets, if that. He gets nothing. He doesn't move ratings, doesn't move merch, doesn't do any of that. And I get it. He's a heel. So you don't got to come and tell me, oh, he's getting heat. That's what he's supposed to do. Go away heat. That's good anyway. No. Exactly. That's what he gets. Go away heat. But he doesn't even get that. That's the sad thing. He doesn't get boos. No reaction. Yeah, exactly. No pop. In the words of Roman Reigns. But, I don't know. How are we supposed to take Gunther seriously? He tapped out to Jey Uso. And then he lost to Sami Zayn at WrestleMania 40. He tapped out to AJ Styles a few weeks prior. Okay? There is so much wrong with this run. There's so much wrong. Gunther's not believable in the slightest when you have him lose to all these people, especially when you have him lose to AJ Styles, literally just a few weeks ago by tapping out. And we're not about to talk about Cena because Cena, it was unbelievable. How can Jey Uso tap out Gunther and Cena loses to Gunther? It makes no sense. Something's not adding up here with this booking. This is awful Triple H. This is awful Triple H booking at its finest, folks. This is what you're looking at. Triple H trying to build a star. He's failing miserably. And it was a miserable watch, man, the whole Rumble itself. But the crowd was not into it. And the crowd wasn't there. The crowd wasn't there. They were not at the Rumble. You had a crowdless Royal Rumble for AJ Styles' last match. Are you kidding me? That is the best you can do for AJ Styles. AJ Styles, he isn't just some schmuck. Alright, that's AJ Styles. And you gave him 2 weeks of build. Gunther wasn't even there half the time. And it was literally just one-sided, making AJ Styles look bad half the time. That was pretty much it. And that a horrible lead up to an underwhelming match with an underwhelming finish. I will say the match itself was pretty good, but the outcome just outweighs it so bad that honestly the match was awful. I'm just going to say it. Because that outcome was possibly the worst outcome we could have gotten. AJ Styles retires in front of people who don't care, in front of a 80% empty stadium or arena that they built in a month, by the way, but I'm not going to get into that. Check that out for yourself. But he doesn't even get the package. He doesn't get anything. He doesn't get a video package. He doesn't get a proper send-off. And then I hope this was off script. He was about to take the gloves off, but then he didn't. He kept them on. So I hope he did that on purpose. And, maybe he'll go to AEW. I hope he doesn't go to TNA. But, man, how do you mess that up? You could have built this to Mania or SummerSlam. You didn't even have to go the full year like John Cena. Because I get it. Maybe AJ wanted to retire earlier. But I don't think he wanted to retire at the Rumble. This was totally a Triple H call. He just wanted Gunther to look good as possible heading into Mania so he could take him as a threat and so he can be as scary and as big as possible to the next opponent he's going to have at Mania. And he's probably going to retire someone else. He'll probably retire Orton. I wouldn't be surprised, which would be an awful decision. But Triple H's booking is just horrible. I mean, because Roman spoke out about this now. He spoke out about this a few days ago. He said, look, I gave these young guys about 2 years to improve, and, Roman was out the spotlight, and he was putting people over. He put Bronson Reed over, and guess what? Bronson Reed still sucks. Bronson Reed is still garbage. Okay? It doesn't matter. Roman can make these guys look as good as possible, and nothing will change. Same with Randy. Randy has put over countless. He has put over countless. And none of them, they're still the same. And this is a Triple H issue because he doesn't know how to utilize momentum. The momentum that Gunther had once he beat Cena, nobody cared. And just like how, now nobody's going to care that Gunther beat AJ because now we're realizing a pattern. This is Gunther's role, right? This is what he's going to do. And we don't feel anything towards it because you're just trying to make him like the legend killer Randy Orton. And it's not working because we don't connect with Gunther. We don't care about him like that. He's good at a mid-card, Intercontinental Championship role. You don't put him in the main spot like this. He's going to be in the final three of the Rumble probably every year leading up to the time Triple H gets kicked out, which I don't know if that'll happen, but, fingers crossed, man. I hope one day. Like, the fact is, AJ probably had the whole year left in him, which pisses me off because Cena said the same thing. He said, I want to do 60 dates, 70 dates. That's what Cena said. He wanted to go out with a bang. He probably even wanted to do live events. Or probably every TV he could possibly do. Every SmackDown and Raw. And guess what? Triple H and TKO said, oh, we only need you for 36, but, you're fine. Like, why? Why? Why do you not want these wrestlers to go out the way they're supposed to? Because I bet AJ wanted to do a full year. I bet he did. And I bet Triple H said, no, we're going to do it at Saudi. We're going to do it at Riyadh, where there's like 12 people in attendance, and, you get to retire, but, Gunther gets to retire you. And, like, what? You couldn't even give him at least, like, a U.S. title run, or maybe a world title run, man. You never know. Maybe one more time this year? Because that would shake things up, right? AJ winning the world title. He hasn't won a world title since 2019, or he hasn't held one. So that would be interesting, right? But no, we just don't want to be interesting. We want to be just, like do nothing. Like, we could have gotten a proper AJ Styles retirement run. We could have gotten that. But guess what, bro? Triple H, he just wants to bury everyone that he didn't create at this point. Every self-made man, he just wants to give them the worst possible ending he possibly could. Because he wouldn't do this to Seth Rollins, and he wouldn't do this to any of his favorites like Sami Zayn. This is clearly a thing where it's favoritism. Okay? Every non-Triple H wrestler is going to go out horribly. That's just what we're going to expect now. Because if a legend like AJ Styles gets treated like this, literally only gets 1 month out of 2026, barely gets a goodbye, and if this is truly it, it's just disgraceful. Like I said earlier, worst retirement in wrestling history. And it's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse because the game, he's too stubborn in his ways, man. And you know what? Maybe Triple H should consider that the stadium was empty, that they built specifically for that show. Maybe that was empty because the product just sucks. Like, ever consider that? Ever consider maybe like fixing the product up? Maybe just a consideration, man. Maybe that's why the arena or the stadium was like 20% full, literally empty. And those lights on the seats, they didn't make it better. If anything, it just showed how empty it was, because you saw so many seats just flashing lights, and there was no one in them, no one in them. And that's what AJ Styles retired in front of, like a 20%, half full. I mean, probably less than half full stadium that they built for the Royal Rumble. So yeah, man, AJ just went out horribly. It's over. This is the end of WWE. This is the beginning of the end, guys. When you see a legend like AJ Styles go out like that, it's over. And yeah, man.